As more consumers become aware of the environmental impact of fast fashion, vintage clothing has emerged as a popular alternative among young people. Let's take a look at how vintage clothing retailers discuss this phenomenon and the reason behind this.
With a lot of people like to dress fast fashion and like to get the latest trend. I think even if you buy from fast fashion but keep it for a long time, that's better, but people seem to just bin things after they've worn it, so that's had a massive impact on the environment, whereas people need to think a lot more about slow fashion and sustainability and for like future generations.
The waste is enormous in terms of, for example, water waste, etc., chemical waste, getting everything from A to B. You know, vast majority of fast fashion is made in the Far East, so it's an awful long way to come. And people, don't get value for money. They'll wear it once and then they'll throw it away.
Gordon and Laura revealed that how fast fashion has a huge impact on the environment. As people become more aware of this, more and more vintage consumers are supporting the sustainable fashion trend.
Shopping vintage. Probably because I think it's more sustainable and I don't want to support huge conglomerates that are like taking over the fashion industry. So I think it's just because we're able to recycle rather than creating more and feeding into it. It's a way of being part of consumerism without creating more and more fashion that will just basically end up in landfills one day. So I think it is a more sustainable way to go about it. I think it's encouraging underconsumption rather than overconsumption. I think it's showing younger generations that there is a way to wear high fashion and to be fashion forward without having to have the newest thing all the time.
With the emergence of many vintage supporters like Sarah, the vintage market has rapidly expanded in recent years. Let's hear what vintage retailers have to say.
I think it's just a growing feeling that everyone's got to try and do their little bit for the environment. The more it can be recycled, the more it's going to get used, the less waste, the less that's going into landfill. We all know what's happening with global warming, and anything that people can do is a good thing.
I think vintage clothing recently has got really, really popular, especially with students. There's lots of amazing trends in the past that you can't get now, and a lot of fashion from the past you can't get now. So people like to go and shop and find unique pieces. And again, it's just way better for the environment. So I think there's just been a big demand for it. So that's why there's been a lot of vintage shops opening, especially with reworked fashion as well.
So how does Laura see this opportunity to embrace a more sustainable slow fashion path?
The products we get in here, I either design myself, make myself, or we get them from small businesses. So we've tried to go down the slow fashion route rather than fast fashion, and definitely try to have a sustainable fashion impact. So our biggest collection, I'd say, is the reworked denim jackets. Each one's completely different. We put completely different prints on the back and we get that put onto fabric and onto the jackets. So that makes them really unique as well. So the benefits with reworked, I think you get a unique product, and also you're reusing clothing rather than making new clothes. I think a lot of people have got a throwaway attitude and they throw away clothes, so it's a good way of repurposing and making a unique item out of something old.
So with the rapid rise of the vintage trend, what challenges will these retailers face?
With vintage clothing, I think some shops tend to sell the same thing, so there is sort of a limited supply and you can't buy everything vintage. There's only certain trends and things like that. I think it will continue to grow. I think especially because of the environmental impact, vintage will keep growing because I think younger generations and students want to try and help the environment. And I think if you can keep wearing something and rework it or renew it, that would be really good.